All right, separate traders, welcome. I'm back here this Wednesday, October 5th. I was about to say August, October 5th. Great to see Mark, great to see Andre, and the few of us still joining us here inside the live trading room. A bit of a quiet afternoon thus far, but the market is pushing back up, SPY back up to yesterday's highs. It's technically like down percentage wise on the days, still a little bit, still holding underneath yesterday's close, but it's right there. So great to see Ron, Dan, Mark, Leda, Jeff, Ray. Great to see Ray here with us. So, let's hop right into it here. The kit trade, at least for right now, it's still pretty volatile. It's trading some good volume based on the order book and definitely on the day. So it leads you to think, at what point does this stock begin to exhaust out? Well, given that, this is still right near the highs. It was pushing back up pretty nicely, ended up bottoming out just earlier in the afternoon off the 5 level. So ended up making a nice bounce from there, but it took a while for this to make the cleaner pop since, and still it's been a bit rugged even after trying to squeeze up over $6 here. So, right now we'll put this on our watch list just to begin. KITT. All right. You know what? I'll bring up level 4 for this trade, if anything. I was going to start by going over the Mara trade, which we were commenting on earlier and just, a moment ago inside the trading room. But let me bring up level 4. Let me bring up Bookmap here for right now. It doesn't really seem like there's a clear iceberg on the ask up until 640. It crashed above this one here at $6.20 and from there pulled back. So that could still be a resistance coming up here. Starting to make a little bit of a pop right now. So perhaps 620 is our next resistance. And then from there, perhaps up higher at 640, right? All right, we'll go back and forth with this here, folks. But the kit trade will definitely put on our watch list. So it's not just the market moving up, but I'll tell you, hey, earlier this morning, at least in kit right now, there's plenty of, stocks that ended up making some big moves. And thankfully, this tops trade ended up giving us a hell of a lot more compared to what we were really looking for from pre-market. So it's easy to leave money on on the table for a trade like this, but this one was really choppy before it ended up re-breaking higher. So that's where you can get tripped up thinking it's going to reverse or pull back. We as in me. So at that, I was looking for a big move off the bottom blue line here at 758. There was about a 66, 68,000 share print that was filled earlier today. It ran up from the morning. It got halted on the way up. Well, when it reopened up off its halt, whenever that was, we ended up seeing a big print right off of 758 for about 66, 68,000 shares. It just took a while for that move to really materialize, but it ended up pulling back under and over. This is where I got chopped up here because I thought it was going to break lower here and pull back. This stock has been pretty illiquid, and with that, it can make a big move. So obviously, we saw the end result. This ended up re-breaking, though, resistance off the 8 level and 790. So it did lead to another entry, at least that we were able to take. But man, this thing was a little shaky at first, kind of like the AERC from yesterday. So, you hope to see a quicker move, but as long as you have faith in the levels that you see from level 3 and level 4, it could be a great trade still from a higher price, right? So you have to remember that, keep that psyche in mind for the amount of times that it needles that, resistance at 8. If it fails to reverse and go the other way, well, hey, the more times it stabs it going up, it should look to make that pop. Now, from that point, the more it goes up, then you wonder, when is it going to begin to pull back, go the other way? So, the more it squeezes, then it's easier for you to, chase, easier for you to, miss out on it, basically. You don't want to chase it. So with that, this ended up consolidating a little bit higher off the 11 level later on, and then just now, like giant shakes. So, that's the part of the trade that we all fear. That's the part of the trade that you don't want to be a part of. We know for as much as this pumped up, not just today, but from yesterday and a little bit back from Tuesday this week or Monday this week, I ended up seeing the stock begin to shake right back down. So you can't guarantee a higher high later on this afternoon. Just the way this is trending here, I'm not as inclined to put this on our main list just yet. I'll come back to it perhaps at the end. All right, the kit trade re-breaking above 6 right now. We're going to see if that can make the pop up towards 620 like we had mentioned a moment ago. Let's go from top to bottom. Otherwise, though, we have a couple of other crazy ones here, like SHFS. Thing ends up making like a couple of big pops earlier today. Shortly after the market opened up, popped and got halted. shortly going into the late morning, early afternoon, popped and got halted. But that doesn't mean it's going to be a great trade, and especially something this illiquid. This is worse than tops. This is worse than any other stock that we actually did call out. So we didn't really focus on this nearly as much. Thankfully, so ended up popping up greatly, but pulled back, steady downtrend. This move is done. All right, what else we got? Well, I'll tell you, we didn't focus on SHFS as much, but we did focus on the PEGY. PEGY ended up making a pretty good push shortly after the market opened up. It was a great trade from pre-market too. So we talked about that from the morning meeting. The stock, I think, was number 2 on the very brief and short watch list I made for you folks this morning. The difference between myself and Fausto. Fausto's a 30-year plus pro, of doing this, right? I'm going on 8 years. Oh shit! Today's October 5th, so tomorrow, and I didn't really mean to plan it out this way in front of the meeting. I really didn't recognize this until right now. Wow, tomorrow marks 8 years. How about that? But nonetheless, though, that does not compare to Fausto and being a 30-year plus pro. He keeps it simple. He'll produce a brief and short watch list, and it's really efficient. Myself, more often than not, I'll see the opportunity within different trades, and I'll make a bigger list, right? Well, I'll tell you right now, I had 4 stocks in the main watch list here for the market open, and PEGY was one of them. KIT was one of them. The 2 others were duds, unfortunately. BNGO and VEV. But hey, with the shorter watch list this morning, we were able to have a bigger focus on this trade. And this we were able to take full advantage of, ended up breaking above 220 pre-market high, and then from there ended up lifting. So, more or less steady trend up over 3. But again, just like we talked about on tops, for as much as this pushed up, when is it going to pull back? When is it going to make a false breakout? Well, it's going to do that, not to say at a specific time, but, off a big level. And that being a whole number as it, tested 3 the first time, popped it, dropped it. That was it. So, a little bouncier, I guess, but I don't know. This PEGY, I feel like for right now is definitely done. Great trade from this morning, though. That's for sure. Keep it on your side list for tomorrow. And hey, if this pops going into the close, then we'll obviously be following it if it has more life to it coming up. But right now, not just yet. All right, what else we got here? BHVN. I saw Mark pick up like 40 cents on this trade, 38 or 40 cents on this trade. Ended up pushing up really nicely. It looks like a new IPO. Very illiquid. That's like the theme of the day today, I feel like. Ended up making a big pop, all-time highs, I reckon, but just not really worth it right now. There are much better trades that could go with the market. SPY's pushing back up here, so it could be a good. I'd said it from the morning. Thankfully, we were correct in saying it, but this was a good day to follow some sideless stocks, the airlines, the cruise line. There, the EV trades like NEO and XPEV, and a lot of different stocks, GM and Ford, and you name it. But nonetheless, though, I mean that could be the same to be said for the close. INDO, nice pop from the morning here too. A little pop, pulled back, and ended up actually making a nice move going into the open. This really is right from 780. One of our students, Ray, got like 25 cents, I think it was. Right from the maybe more. I don't want to discount him there, but right off the 780 level. We're going over that on our coaching call today. But nonetheless, right now, not really a whole lot happening here. Good stock from earlier today. Just like AERC from yesterday. We had the HUSA stock from earlier today, too. I'm sure we'll run into that. There we go. Right here on the gainer side. We got Chewy up big. All right. Trading about 14,000 shares a minute across the last series of 20 or so minutes. It's doing all right. I mean, it's tradable. If you did well on Chewy earlier today, then you should definitely look to follow it yourself. Or if this is a stock that you do pretty well on more often than not, and it's like on your side list, then that's definitely a good trade for you to personally follow. If we don't really have as much else to really put on our list, then I definitely will add this. See if there's anything looking a little bit more special, pushing up pretty nicely at the highs, perhaps. And the phase trade pop earlier today. Phase not really trading a whole lot of volume per minute right now. Oof, yeah, pop and drop. Jeez, that's dangerous. I saw it get called out earlier on the way up, but I didn't check in with it literally until right now. You just assume that it was going to drop off. The stock has a history of doing that off its IPO. All right, we had tops move up. Stock's below $1 though. Ship. I doubt this is making a move. Yeah, it's not really doing a whole lot. So a stock I want to take a look at because it has gap fill opportunity, but I don't know how far away it is from the gap for it to begin to fill. ARDX. Well, it's been pushing up recently on the daily. It still has a ways to go though. Back from like, what is that, like 215 or so, roughly, right here. So it's been moving up pretty nicely here, at least testing the highs back from September, August. That is September. 148 right there. Just slow though on the intraday. That's the issue. All right, let's hop over to the loser side right now, folks. Again, we'll check in with any of our side list stocks here at the end: airlines, cruise lines, casino stocks, EV stocks, non-EV stocks, whatever you want me to look at here at the end, folks. Type it in the chat board. Let me know. I'll go through my own little list. SHC, I saw this as a short like a week or two ago. Yeah, you can see from the daily chart, this thing got clipped from like 15 down to 10, dropped off the next day. Hey, it's pulling back again here this afternoon, dropping off slowly. It's just not really doing a whole lot, though. I mean, it's tradable. It's like more like level 1, level 2-ish. Wouldn't hurt us to put this on our main list. Just I want to see if there's anything looking more like, volume packed or more of a name brand stock, maybe something less expensive than EMPH, which is a pretty name brand stock given the price. We ended up seeing this make a nice drop earlier this morning. I recall this popped up on my scanner, but again, just so expensive. So we're not really as interested in following that. Actually, you know what? Let me just double check something, because when this moves, I believe SPWR makes a similar move. SunPower, it's down over 5%. More liquid order book, obviously a lot cheaper. Not terrible. Oh, wow. FSIL is down a sneaky 8%. It's just so slow now as a cheaper stock. You're not going to get anything on this trade that you'd be happy with, like respectable profit-wise. If you can get like 3 cents on this trade, I feel like that's like a giant victory. Plug on the flip side, right? FSL is making a nice drop down big today. You got to assume Plug's making a similar type of trend. Plug, at least you can get a little bit more sense on a trade. If you're trading the same share count or whatnot, at least Plug's the more volatile move. So Plug, I'll put on our list here, at least tradable. It is pushing back up though. So with the market still at the highs here, you might get a small dead cat bounce here on Plug into the close. That's always possible. All right. I'll tell you, folks, there could be more left across the gainers or losers list here. Type it in the chat board, though. Otherwise, let me know if there's anything I missed. Mark saying plug, or not plug, geez, FNGR high of the day. Mark, I'm going to send a coaching link coming up very shortly. But yeah, FNGR, I don't think I ended up looking at this across the gainer side, did I? Did I skip over it? In my mind, I was going down the list. I was like, oh, yeah, there's FNGR. Let me look at that. I may have gotten stuck on phase and went through a rant on that. Yeah, FNGR is obviously looking incredibly strong. So if I had missed that, that's my bad. Yeah, that's on the top of the list there. There we go. Numero uno. For any of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, Stelline Pierre saying market will be up today and tomorrow. I hope so. Well, market certainly is up today. I mean, regardless of the close, if it's below yesterday's or not. I mean, this has been an incredible day thus far, and perhaps after hours we'll see another big push. We'll certainly check in with Bitcoin coming up soon and see what happens with that going into the overnight session. All right, let me just check Benzinga Pro here, folks, very briefly. See if there's anything looking good on that side. Sober had a pop and drop. That was nasty. NVAX, I see down a little bit. It's dropping off right now, I think. Yeah, I was moving up pretty nicely a moment ago, but pulling back. Yeah, just not really a whole lot happening there. FOXO, I see that from the gainers end, so just taking a look at that pretty quickly. It's up big. I don't know if I missed out on this one or what. It's pushing up a little bit right now. So if I glossed over it, it was probably just very flat here at the time. So looks like it did break over 150 and the VWAP off 151. As of now, it doesn't look bad. I'll put this on our list. FOXO. If it pulls right back under the VWAP there and 150, just I'd be really careful. Speaking of being really careful, I hope you had your stop set. Man, nasty shake. Hey, did we not call it out though, folks? Did we not call out the resistance? We were saying 620, and if it breaks above that, then 640. But just a moment ago, this ended up moving perfectly up to 620. It broke above it, yes, but it made a false breakout. So when it breaks above that level, if it's such a big resistance from earlier today, you got to expect a pretty big move shortly after, right? Just like we always talk about. Now, why do I bring it up that way? Because obviously, look at the end result. So, this actually could have went quicker on the way down. On the same bar, that could have tanked. You had like 2 clean minutes for you to say, all right, it's not making this move. I think it's time to get out. And then, bam. So that's obviously not a good sign for this kit trade. When a stock gets halted on the way down, it's normally a wrap. That's normally game over. So I guess I'll leave it on our list, but it'll be right at the bottom. So not looking nearly as good now at this point, right? All right, folks. Well, I'll tell you what, short list here heading into the afternoon. Let me just check out the side list ones here at the end. NEO dropped off quite a bit today. Now it's pushing back up towards 16. I'd ended up missing out on a small little trade right off that blue line there at 1577. That was the monthly close open. Ray, I don't know if Ray S is tuning into this meeting right now. We were just on a coaching call earlier. I hope he's in right now. It's testing 16 here currently. You got the VWAP in 16, but nonetheless, just a side list stock. I'm not going to put this on our main list right now. American Airlines at the highs, very similar trend to the SPY right now. Just nothing really too special about it. Pretty slow. We don't really want slow here at this point going into the close. Just because stocks are at the highs, it doesn't mean that they're going to run, right? So you want to find something that's like as much bang for your buck as possible. With that, maybe a couple of different stocks here, like maybe like an LCID, just briefly checking in with that. This doesn't look half bad, moving up to 15. AMD, more expensive, mind you, but trend looks beautiful. So there's a lot that looks like this, right? But if there's something that's like more price efficient and moving up pretty nicely, more bang for your buck, definitely let me know. I know the other day we were talking about the meme stocks making a bit of a push up. Unfortunately, they didn't really continue going into the market close, like AMC and the Bobby J trade, Bed Bath Beyond. Neither of them are really doing much right now. Mark saying PCG new 12-month high and a big candle at 2:38 Eastern time. PCG. Let's take a look. Remember this drop? This is crazy with the California wildfires. This was a wild month and a half. Let's put it that way. So, that makes me more interested in seeing this become a faster moving trade. You have so much volume on the order book for this to cut through, though, I feel. So, I'll put it on our list, just more of a test to see what happens here. Just given such the drop off that we had, we've been wondering, like, hey, when is PCG going to dead cat bounce? Well, it hasn't up until maybe, potentially, hopefully today. So notice how I phrase that, folks. Nothing guaranteed. It's on a beautiful trend right now, but we want this to become a faster moving trade, going into the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes coming up here. Bill talking about the PEGY. Maybe that made another big move. It did. All right. Beautiful. Great call from Bill. Very timely. PEGY. Definitely going to put this on our list now. Nice pop back up. Very sudden, but we'll take it. So broke over the VWAP, broke over 250, and let's look for that to become support here coming up. I think we have a little time, so we'll see what comes of this trade, but very good call from Bell. All right, folks. Now, at this point, I think that we're just about good here at this point. The kit trade just reopened up. In total, we got 6 stocks to work with here going into the market close. Again, there's a lot that's like up, but if you're only going to make pennies on the trade, I wouldn't find it to really be as worth it here going into this time of the day. This is prime time trading. Stocks like the PEGY, stocks like the FNGR, perhaps even Plug from earlier. That's actually making a pretty good squeeze. That's on the losers list, but making a good dead cat bounce. So there is opportunity out there, but it's up to you to be selective with it and know what's most worth your time. For all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, if you have any questions, feel more than free to send it over through email. Josh@c2trading.com is my email right there. All right. So if you want to join our live trading room, otherwise, feel more than free to go right down to the link on the yellow banner below the stream just to get yourself started. But for Leda, for Mark, who I'll be talking to coming up, but for Bill and Andre and all of us otherwise, Rich will be on the mic at 3 p.m. But I'm going to tag him out, and I'll be jumping back on shortly after. I'll be on just like a few minutes after 3:30. But otherwise, folks, I will be talking to you folks coming up pretty soon. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9. Do it today.